Our next speaker, you may have seen his art all around Miami. He's infamous for the eyes that are all over the city. Our next speaker, A-hole sniffs glue.
Hello, everybody. All right. My name's David Anasagasti. Go by A-hole sniffs glue, Alouishous San Gomma. I have a bunch of different aliases because, unfortunately, you can't just write your name on the wall and not expect somebody to knock on your door and see what's going on. But pretty much, I came from two parents, like everybody else. They were Cuban. They left Cuba because it wasn't the greatest place over there. I haven't been able to go there myself, but me and my brother were the first ones of Cuban-American descent. We grew up like everybody else, except later on in life, we figured out that we weren't rich. We were broke. We were pretty much poor. My parents were divorced. For as long as I remember, I don't even remember them being together, but it was a really messed up situation, but whatever. Pretty much what I have flashing through here right now is these stickers that you may or may not have seen throughout town. I've pretty much dedicated myself to always put these up regardless of the situation that's going on. But I've realized that from the day that I was born, even before that I was born, there was a road that was already paved for me. It wasn't a road that I wanted to take. It was the expectations of life, you know, go to school, do this, do that, go get a job, make money, get married, have kids, do everything that's expected of you. Throughout time, I've realized that that was really not what I wanted to do. So the momentum that was laid out for me before I was even born was something that was not really going to work for me. So basically, I kind of little by little started going against the grain. It wasn't through school I did everything that I had to do to get good grades just to stay below the radar, because my parents weren't really checking my report card. My dad never laid a hand on me. He was just not there. But as time went on, little by little, I started realizing how awesome it is to be different, to be weird, to be the weirdo, the freak, the person that, you know, is not like the other cool kids or what everybody else thinks is cool. I went to public schools all my life. They're not the greatest. I've lived in Miami all my life. I was born and raised in Hialeah, then I lived in Color Ridge, went to Southridge for 4 years. I had basically no reinforcing factors in my life for being creative or being like an individual other than the freakazoids that I was hanging out with, which are still my friends, and they're awesome. They're musicians, they're tattoo artists and everything and all that stuff. Basically, what I'm getting to is that if it wasn't for the people that were not the ones that you want your kids hanging out with, I wouldn't be what I am today. So you can look at it any which way you want. I mean, you know, with the good and the bad. Thanks. All right, so pretty much, you know, I started getting into punk rock scene and everything, and the joys of, you know, making your own stuff, you know, supporting your friends, playing music. I was the worst musician ever. But I realized that my favorite part of doing all that stuff was making flyers and, you know, creating it, cutting them out, you know, getting it out there and all this stuff, and basically making our own wave of noise and pushing it out there. From that, you know, and also through bad decisions, which later on were speed bumps that I ended up coming across, things just became like more exciting for me. I realized that life really isn't as fair and as easy and as perfect as, you know, you see on TV and all these families that have their parents and everything, which is all good because you learn how to roll with the punches. If it's not for the bad things, you can't really appreciate the good things. So little by little, I met some other friends that were into graffiti, and they actually were the ones that got me more into the individuality aspect of it, creating style, you know, doing something that separates yourself from the next person and all that stuff, and the joys of getting up and manifesting a name that you created, which now I have a couple of them, and different images and stuff like that. But little by little, I started getting more and more engulfed in the graffiti stuff. I ended up losing my mom to cancer, which was a very sad thing because she was pretty much the one that raised us. And I realized I was outside of Baptist Hospital in the hospice area, and I would go out for, you know, smoke cigarettes and go catch tags and put up stickers and everything. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why? My mom's dying in there, and I'm putting up stickers, I'm writing on things. I've gotten in trouble for this stuff before, you know, so it kind of puts things into perspective. And then I realized that, you know, my mom lived her life, my dad did what he did or whatever, and they were their own people. They had their own rhythm, their own momentum. They did what they did, they made their own mistakes and everything, so now it's my time. So I realized that I still had to face the consequences that everybody else has to face, but I was ready to deal with it. I was ready to roll with the punches and everything. So my mom passed away. It was a really sad time. I still see it as like the worst thing in my life that I ever went through, but it also reminds me of this thing that I did, which was getting up and putting my name all over the place, was very special. And it touches a lot of different people in many different ways. There's actually a fine young lady here that has a tattoo of my stuff on her, who's really cool, and that's a very nice thing. But thanks. But I mean, the moral of everything is pretty much you just gotta roll with the punches. Like, my greatest day is somebody else's worst day, and your worst day could be my greatest day ever. You know, and it's kind of sad when you're going through it and you're feeling bad and you're kind of like feeling sad and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do, cry about it? You can't, because nobody really cares other than the people that are close to you, and then even them, they have their own problems. Like, you guys got your own issues. The people before me definitely had some situations that they went through which are intense, and it's a really tough thing. So you just gotta keep on rolling with your stuff. I mean, I started getting more into the fine art world, people buying my paintings. It was really weird to actually get money for something that I would get in trouble for. But little by little, I mean, things just kept on happening, and I just kept on rolling with it. And as you can see, I mean, I never leave the house without stickers. I mean, I got a million of them here if you guys want some. But it's just a matter of just looking at the bright side of everything and just realizing that, I mean, I don't know, things could always be worse. And if you can't laugh at yourself, or if you can't laugh at somebody else and just realize that the day's gonna keep on going, you're really, I don't know, it's getting difficult up here. What I did? I still got a lot more, right? All right, so I mean, throughout stuff, things have happened. I mean, I went through some stuff that came out on the news. You might have known about it. It was some legal stuff that it put me in a weird situation where my full face, my full name was out there. I went from being this anonymous type of person to this person that now everybody knows where I live, everybody knows what my full name is and everything. And it was a very tough situation to deal with, especially living this type of life. But I don't know, I guess that's all. All I gotta really tell you besides that is just go against the grain, keep your momentum going, listen to your parents if you got good parents. If your parents are bad, it could be worse. And just keep on going.